Ready. Are we ready to listen again to the laws of the land and pleasures of light? Welcome to episode 7, pre-3, which means prior to third chapter. I should be normal voice bits here. Once again, hearing work noise. Sorry. Construction noise, I mean. If you hear things that shouldn't be in such. Sorry about that. Right. I'm gonna start, and yes. Oakley, a large-ish town. Thousands of visitors pass through as leads to the capital of the Elven lands, Elverquin. A distant speak, but still a mighty tree fortress. Distant spark, but still a mighty tree fortress. A large tree made into fortification, strong oak, marble, and obsidian walls, intertwined by other tree breeds. Oakley, a town with a similar designs, but now humanoid, with square buildings for Invictus. Only 3 major original buildings left. They're too big, and so they became museums and tourists' places for the pass, by tribute to the past species of elves. Art pieces selling and other entertainment. There's also towers of Invictus Station guard posts, ground 4 edges, 4 roads leading into town. The town more a overall design, but with humans become more blocky, making fortifications blocking normal houses on edges from going into the wild. Now walls are now keeping them in, and now you can only go in via the main roads. One of the buildings large with a stone and wood, metal poles to keep the structural sound too. The winds sometimes shake other buildings, but this one reinforced. Wood that maple, reddish brown, a place for visitors and locals to enjoy meals. A restaurant. In the restaurant of 2 floors, the lowest floor has a basement where now and again couple Invictuses and Rikasha pick up barrels of supplies that get stored in the cool dry room. There on the edge is a wall that's carved with stencils but covered up early on with paint. No little grey hides the mark of an old door, a door that's 10 feet wide and opens only when you know the code or the right to access the long tunnel that lets you enter the Igu temple, the city of the dead. Kalamnik, secret city of the unholy, under the town of Oakley, once guarded by elves, now been banished by the Invictus during the purge. Magical barrier only thin and able to be removed by high arcane rite. This is when a gem, large cyan glowing orb, moved through the invisible wall. Magical barrier only thin and able to be removed by high arcane rite. This is when a gem, a large cyan glowing orb, moved through the invisible wall and hovered over to watch the humans looking at once over at boxes full of stuff. Material stuff that gets left behind when dead comes. Less interesting yet it. Material stuff that gets left behind when dead comes. Less interesting yet it interested the gem, because Elb's way was different. They took peace and calm over the belongings, keeping everything dust free, yet these just allow it to accumulate. Some root, some rot, seeing through the old barrels grow. Even elven barrels lingered with small layer of silver coating, giving it elements to eat the rot, but also reducing the spread to other food and belongings. Moving past them and up the stairs, the creatures can't see him, because testing his powers a god. He realized you can't kill anymore when travels through individuals, as the number of followers, beliefs, and faithful, truly faithful, dwindles to none. Sad, he continues up, looks at the bounty of stories, words, and hymns. So many people eating at the night, so many drunk, so many spoiling the meal with spice and herbs. Yet this is what the gem wanted all along. I think it's pronounced Igu. I-G-U. Yeah. First necromancer, and the first god under those rules, being worshipped by dark wizards of wizard world, yet he despises them so because they miss the reason why he pursued this power, this part of death. He wanted her back, her family, her and the family, wanted to spare them, bring them back for another life, many years in joy together, yet the illness that continued and contained them never rescinded, leaving the corpses and damaged man who with some knowledge chased the power to bring back that he lost, loved and adored. He can only picture those children, the wife, and singing along to bars and taverns and inns on their journeys as tradesmen from a fractured region on the continent. This one is fine. My powers were never meant for evil. Never were for power to manipulate and control those lesser, but even so I believe in me and my righteous path. No one will suffer again by these lesser necromancers that seek so. Just double check. He wanders around, faint glow, cyan, making the darkness outside fade away as the gem orb continues until reaches out through the open window. There he rises 40 feet up to look at the once round, now squarish town. The walls, guarded by leather-armored halberds and spearmen, seem to be local recruits, with some men-at-arms mercenaries. Days when were shocked the lands, and these walls fully veterans and elvish guards. Now the legacy of the elves slowly being peeled away to being just a landscape inhabited by Victus, Maya Victus. Always humans become a plague of its own. In the area, the lights of lanterns and burners, keeping the empty black void of the evening and night merging. A lot of people mingling to their homes. As rows of buildings of streets, merchants would be locking their belongings behind the cabins. I don't miss those days, worrying about other people's businesses and the threat of others, yet needing them to provide coin for good. Worries fade quickly when health is a priority. Heading back down, suddenly noticing a portal emerging from the west side of Oakley. The path. There on the road, a hatted wizard with a bit of colour looking around, then huddled up, walking towards a building that's empty. From here, he noticed the energy, the arcane power within, awakened recently. What's this person up to? Sneaking around. So flowing down, following it forward, just before reaching the door, the magical energy bursts. A loud groan as
Oh, we were walking to the Imperial lands. Why did you have to make this harder on us?
as the building explodes as two large 15-feet gullions burst through the roof, and the large creatures standing still until ordered. It's time to find the gate. You will help me locate the invisible wall, but for now, you are a distraction. Find a way to move guards away from these two buildings. I think it's either this one or this larger one. The gem, fuming at the words, some wizard wants to find this city, his city, another facade looking for power instead of love and care. Time to confront such McMahon. You dare enter Oakley and destroy this building? I demand your name, wizard. The gem echoing as a large cyan blinding light, making the Gullions wince. The wizard bewildered, trying to see where the voice came from, but only see the light. Then noticing it finally, the gem, IGU. I give up. Oh, mighty-eyed dew, I seek your awakening. I seek the power to be upheld to me, to become immortal, to spread your divine worship, to bring the unholy back into the world. You distaste me. I refuse. You are demon lesser. I banish you from my city. If you attempt to enter it, would be your death, not immortality. What? You can't be serious. All my devotion, all these years, teachings. Look, even this your old book I have page from. I followed now. You let me go? I'm Arcana. I can do this. No, your heart is corrupt. You have no true intent but hurt and pain. You learned nothing but lesser men. I forgive you and I forgive me. You followed the steps others tried. Instead of following your own, you compared. You wanted to be a best wizard. Instead, you chose to pursue darkness. Yes, that's what necromancy is. Unholy corruption, distaste. What do you say necromancy is for? Light and brightness? I give up. Have a good day, wizard. You must find another path before the path becomes your tomb. The orb light dimmed and the gem floated away back to his building, back to the city's centre, south to the home.
Oh God, that was interesting. Can we go now?
No. I do this all for him. I did this all for us. For this. Unless I killed... Oh my god, I killed my best friend. Who else seeks the same goal? It's too late for me. How dare he? He threw me away. It's mine. No, it's not you. Have a bit of life left. No, I have only evil content. Two bodies fighting, arcane and a manner. Seems like the old person tried to speak, but was silenced by the purest of this awakening. We will make Oakley unholy. We can make him change his mind, show our true power of the arcane. He must see we are worthy, yet he is said we are not from our actions. Yes, let's do this. Let's bring these people to their knees. Gullion 1, Gullion 2. You want to fight? Kill them all. I will do people in a large building. Uber in.
Okay, boss.
They both turned to make some noise. Looking down the road, guard posts running up with pike formation. Spears and halberds pointing to keep the distance, but also boxing in. The large Gullion grabbed the other and, as a rolling pin, threw into the pike lines, hoping to disperse and crush them in the weight. Not realizing their new strengths, and they bowled through with ease as the line shattered, the spikes unable to hold, yet the fear making them lower and move. However, the crushed men and ones that didn't and barely crushed started pouring drinks into their friends' mouths. Soon 8 troops got back up, and the Gullion slowly getting up, alarmed by the actions of others. The officer whistling, and soon the guards stabbed a low giant and slicing into the weak spots, slowly bleeding it dry, just as the officer walked up with a cutter and slices the neck, making the head slip off and a corpse. The Gullion body butchered and shrinking back into its 10-foot figure, So the soldiers prepare for the angry, sad Gullion, seeking vengeance with the large wooden pole from the building uses as a stick to knock pike lines to the side. Another officer whistle as from a side street, archers and crossbows ready, striking bolts and arrows at him. Oh, stop this! Blockers, you! As arrow stings in the face and body, blood, black ink gurgling on the floor from the holes made. I think I used the wrong voice for that one, but that's okay. You will be slain. You are destruction. Men, fire. The officer whistled again, and another volley striking the beast. Soon the giant trembled and unable to attack both sides. Eventually they started throwing rocks, wood and bark and smashing full force into the ranged units, this giving time for the pikemen to charge and slice the giant's feet, and soon the Gullion fell lifeless once more, both bodies decaying. The necromancer, unaware of the defeat of the creatures, walked into this room where drinks, food, and many other guests roam of Ubi Inn. Seeing the bar staff notice him, he walks towards one and casts a spell at them. The bar staff, surprised, he said, "You can't use spells here. It is against the rules. See the sign as..." The boss, looking at the mage who stood there, thinking. Finally, the cast ended, dismissing the spell, and suddenly turning to the door, stands outside, just 2 inches away from the door frame, and then cast the same spell, shooting a large fireball, splashing everywhere, all the tables and bars smouldering, and the bar staff covered in embers. The fire smoke ended, and what's left is corpses. This continued with spells of different types, from bard spells to warlocks, so forth, blasting bolts and lightning, killing everyone who was enjoying themselves, until he finally arrived at the door leading to the basement. There, 4 young staff, staring with eyes of fear and a body shaking, their memories echoing the darkness and fear of men. A wizard and a death has come to cleanse them. That is the end of episode 7. And we shall continue on to the next episode. Thank you for listening.